of trading for Q2. Let's kick things off. First things first, when it says risk in trading, please then always use trade capital only. Do not trade with money you cannot afford to lose, whether you're trading stocks, options, futures, forex, cryptos, you know the deal. Follow me on social media, make sure it's me, youtube.com/Chris Pulver here Mondays and Fridays. Check out the channel, subscribe, like the videos, all that good stuff. Check out the Trading 101 video series and keep it seriously simple. Let's get into the charts. Take a look at the economic calendar this week. Let's go high impact for the week. All right, so we have no high impact news today. We have CPI for Canada on Tuesday, CB consumer confidence for the US, Aussie CPI on Tuesday, which, if you think about this, we had two rate decisions last week. It was the Swiss National Bank, which raised rates 25 basis points. It was the Bank of England, which raised 50 basis points. The US is looking to raise rates again, another 25 basis points, supposedly in July, according to the CME FedWatch tool. Here it is right here. Probability still remains about 75% that the Fed is going to hike another 25 basis points and then pause for the remainder of the year. If there are any cuts coming, it looks like Q1 of next year. Remainder of the week, Bank of England, Bank of Japan, Fed Powell, where are they speaking at? ECB Forum Central Banking Policy Panel. And Policy Panel. So pretty big names on Wednesday. That's 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Prelim GDP for Germany. Powell speaks again. Fourth conference on financial stability hosted the Bank of Spain in Madrid. Oh boy, Powell's traveling this week. Bank holiday. Final GDP numbers for the U.S. on Thursday. Unemployment claims and GDP for the U.S. CAD, Canada on Friday, and core PCE, which would be another inflation data point to watch. That is personal consumption expenditures. So that's another one to see. Are people still buying stuff in the U.S.? Most likely. Okay. Okay, so that's that. Currency strength. Things are pretty quiet. We had Swiss on top, coming back to baseline a little bit. New Zealand dollar up and down. Euros off of baseline. Japanese yen's come back to the middle. CAD's in the middle. Dollars coming off the lows. Pounds coming off the lows. Looks like a lot of noise trading this morning. Again, final full week of trading for the quarter. So there could be some month end. There could be some Q end. We'll see if there's any unusual activity and volatility. We'll take a look. Taking a look at the stock market, SPY, pretty much gap just a smidge lower, heading up on the morning. I'm going to take a look at things here just as far as my short-term levels go. We have some gaps to fill to the upside. We have some gaps to fill to the downside. This could be an interesting spot. I could see, a little recovery week where we come back and fill this area, or I could see a continuation lower where we want to come back and fill this area. So watching, let me draw those again. If I do a little box right here, so there's a gap, and there's a gap, and price is right in the middle. So it could be noisy. Last week was essentially everything kind of gapped lower, pushed up for the day, gapped lower, pushed up for the day, gapped lower, pushed up for the day. Initially, we had like a lot of gaps and like smaller moves to the downside, and then they'd kind of rally the rest of the day to kind of look to fade. But a lot of pre-market was pushing the markets lower last week to finish a little bit further south, and a lot of that was just a reiterated message from Fed Chair Powell. He had I think a 2-day testimony last week where he just talked about the same thing they've been talking about with the FOMC, which is they're gonna potentially raise rates again or be data dependent meeting by meeting, all the stuff that we know they're going to say. Market's just kind of taking it in stride for right now. Qs, same thing. We have less gaps to fill in this one, but this yellow zone is still a pretty attractive area just for some short-term corrections. I'm still bullish on this overall. I don't know. We could come back up here, have some additional profit taking for the end of the quarter. We can start seeing the profit taking happen all week, and it just continues to trickle lower. But I'm looking for some price efficiency down here into the yellow zone. This just takes me to the stock NVIDIA, looking to kind of time some staggered trades. We're at 423. I'm looking for this to get back down into the low 400s, probably into the 360, 370 area. I don't know if it's going to come back and fill the gap entirely, but I think we're going to stall at current prices. DIA, Following the Dow Jones, pulling back a little bit after poking these highs. Again, could just be range bound. We could have equal highs here. There is a low. There's a nice level support right around 328. So right in the middle. If it comes back down to 328, I'm looking for buying opportunities. If it comes back down to this level of 316, that's a big buying opportunity along with the October lows, which I don't know if we're coming all the way back there, but we'll find out. Real quick, let me log into YouTube and say hi to everybody. All right. We are live. Morning, Chris. Good morning, Ann. Morning, Ruth Ann. David, good morning. Denise, good morning. Jake, good morning. Gail, good morning. Robert, good morning. And happy Monday. Nice to see everybody. Okay, IWM. We had a breakout. We're right back to where we started. So this is kind of a, if we're going to have follow through, we need to see that. If we start to see the next 1 to 2 days closing lower, let's say we're closing below 180, I suppose that this resistance, it would make sense that this would be a break, retest, and trying to, make an attempt to go a little bit higher. But if we fail there, then I'm still interested in, buying this area. Just kind of staying patient overall. Going into July, I would presume that July is going to be one of the slower months in trading. August is going to be a transition month. Volatility is going to resume and pick back up in probably late August, early September. But July could be a slow month. We had a pretty great Q2 to wrap things up. We had a great Q1. The first half of the year has been pretty impressive as far as corrections and melt ups, and hasn't been equal. That's for sure. Like the equal weighted indices are kind of crap. But if you're in big tech and big market caps in the top 5 and top 10 of any sector, you're doing pretty well this year. Okay. Let's see here. No news today to scalp. Good stuff. Good stuff. Very good. All right. I don't really have a ton of expirations for the 30th rather. Let's see if I can go notes here. 6:30 expiration. I'm showing 9 expirations. Alcoa, Nvidia, SLV. I've got a 23 by 2250. Nvidia, just multiple accounts here. IWM. That's a bear call spread. That's we got filled for 80 cents. That's a 20-cent risk. That's okay. Apps is a long call. I might just lose the 35 cents on that one if it doesn't go anywhere. AT&T, the 16 by 1550. I think we're trading the high 15s right now. We might be able to get a break even on that one. AT&T is a 1548, and that was a 16 by 1550. So we're at the low end of that. That might be a small loss. Yeah. Anyway. Oops. So keep an eye on that. I still like holding and owning some AT&T. Dividends pretty solid at 7%. We're sitting here at these multi-year lows. 2020's crash. Go back to the weekly time frame. Oops, I meant to change time frame. Go back to the weekly time frame. The last time AT&T was this level was you got your mid 90s, your .com bubble at 2002 with the lows, your 2008 2009 lows. So just a value play alone. I'm holding. Get back to the middle, get back to the high, target 1, target 2, decent dividends. See if there's some type of structure here that we can see some confirmation on the right-hand side of the trend line to turn the corner. Otherwise, just be patient. Be patient. Morning, Ranjit. Morning, Charles. Okay. Currency-wise, let's take a look at everything here. Let's go dollar, oil, gold, silver. Dollar's at 102. Here's the weekly. Let's go to the daily. So dollar cost and bid last week on Friday. And so Thursday, Friday last week, today opened up a little bit softer. I still am looking for the dollar in the near term to come back up into this yellow zone. There's pretty good structure here. Current lows, previous highs. I'm not drawing that very well. So we have nice little low, high, high. It's been noisy. We had a nice little trend line break. Made some good profits on dollar strength in this run. I'm looking for the dollar to still remain somewhat bid and supported, trying to get the dollar back up here, 105, 106, and then I will start looking for that move. Okay. But like I said, trading in July could be a slow month, could be low volatility. Could be great for some range trading. You know, my Pox Pen Pro, my Perfect Storm, those could work out pretty well this month. So we'll keep an eye on those week to week. Let's see, that's dollar. Oil. Oil still just sideways and stuck for right now. Probably can stay that way for the next month or two. Um, Resistance, you know, right around 75, support around 65, and chop suey. Gold just slowly working its way a little bit lower. I talked about this one last week. If this is high, low, little pullback here. If we have a flat pattern on gold, I'm looking for a continuation down towards 1850. Again, if gold is dropping, I'm expecting the dollar to get a little bit stronger. USD is silver. Silver, we have some channel support coming in right around 22 to 2150. If we break and go lower, I would just wait for a trade around 1825. If we, you know, come all the way back to $15 or less, I'm just buying a ton of silver and just trade the range. But if this is a bull channel, then we come down here, stabilize, go back up, maybe pull back again, stabilize, go back up. But I'm still long till 30 bucks. I think silver does have potential to break out and go a lot higher. But target 1's 30, target 2 is 35, and the target 3 is highs at 45. Bitcoin was the talk of the town last week. We're trading at 30,500. So over the weekend, it stayed pretty much right where we had the big jumps last week. So I think a lot of this was BlackRock throwing its hat in the ring for a potential ETF. Coinbase Credit, I think Coinbase recovered quite a bit nicely as well because it had the backing of BlackRock, and there you go. So there's your SEC probe, and you know Binance and Coinbase were dealing with some trouble, and this started to show the separation between Bitcoin is not Coinbase, but recovered nicely off of the lows here around 47 all the way up to 65, and we're still looking for a straddle. So either price stays below 60 or price gets above 80. We're looking out to the end of the year, but that's a nice little straddle trade on Coinbase, and hopefully, obviously, we're either making our way to the yearly pivot or we're coming back down to these lows. But I would prefer this one. If Coinbase heads up, I would presume that Meta or not Meta, crypto in general is up, Bitcoin is up. This 31,000 level continues to show some pretty strong support or resistance rather. Got that backwards. Resistance. If it's resistance, well, we have to break through it, right? We break through it, it's open space. I mean, there's room up here to 35 or 36, and that could happen pretty quickly. If we clear that hurdle, we're talking about this high back up here around 48K. Just keep looking left. That last big high was 48,000. Last big high before that was our divergent high at 68, 69. So it is just, it's an interesting cycle, right? I mean, big run, divergent tops. We thought we had a channel that broke down. I still like where we're kind of showing accumulation in here. You can just see that if it breaks into the open space, it's this high, and then it's open space. If we have another crazy bull run, then we're having this conversation at 80 to, probably 75 to 80,000. And with just momentum alone, I wouldn't be surprised if 100K is in the works. So I had a lot of chart alarms going off last week. Bitcoin, Ethereum, everything got a nice little pop, and Litecoin as well. This channel held pretty nicely on Ethereum technically. Nice support. I mean, pretty much to the point. That was pretty impressive right there at 1636. And then Litecoin had some chart alarms going off as well. Pretty range bound, but I would say very, very solid potential on some open space. And let me take a look at Litecoin versus Bitcoin. Yeah. If we have a outperformance in some, I don't really like that trend line. Right in here, if we just get a breakout, right in there. So if we show Litecoin going up here and heading higher, Litecoin might be the better play than Bitcoin in the near term. There's some pockets there, previous highs. Just look left. I mean, this is Litecoin versus Bitcoin. What's Litecoin versus the dollar? Same type of thing. we get a breakout. We're looking at highs at 303. We're trading at 90. So what's that potential upside? 200% to 340%. I mean, 300%, I mean, that means that Bitcoin has to go to 90K or 100K. And Litecoin could just get back to the previous highs. Bitcoin would have to break highs. So, I don't know. It's going to be interesting. But risk capital, have some exposure. It's not bad. But a lot of news on Bitcoin last week. Okay. Good stuff. Yeah, Charles, I love hearing that. Yeah, it's, I mean, this is now 4 years of Perfect Storm. It's been great. It has been great. Okay. Any other questions? Any charts? We can take a look at some currencies. This week, directionally, I'm still just kind of nursing some positions. We've had a big fall on the daily chart here. Aussie CAD, giving some back. I don't know if Aussie CAD's going to continue to drift lower or if this is just kind of our summer range. This could be a summer range right in here. So Aussie CAD, if we zoom in this week, there's probably some good pivots to go after. If I go to the 4-hour time frame, ooh, that's close. So we have 1, 2, 3 out of 4 pivots plus a weekly. If we're getting any oversold conditions on a smaller time frame, it's got to be close. So we're oversold on the 4-hour. We're showing some divergence on the 4-hour. That's not a bad trade for this week. Just looking for a little break here and a pop up into this pocket and weekly pivot. So not a bad play. Like I said, it could just be a range. Highs here, lows here. If we turn the corner, there's a little scalp opportunity for Aussie CAD. We head back up to highs for the summer months, gets back to 90, 90.50 to 9100. Overall, I'm still long and bullish on the Aussie CAD. Overall, I'm still bullish on the Aussie Swiss, which again could just be a range. So we could have something like this going on. So we'll come all the way down here, just range trading. Just expect some of that. Yen's been pretty volatile, but stay with your alignments. It's getting tougher to trade. Aussie New Zealand continues to drop. So we shorted it here. Some traders that were staying with it. I said anything below, 107 or lower coming back to fill this big pocket here. But the good thing is the structure held really nicely. Good resistance around 110.50 and potential profit all the way back down to 106. Aussie dollar, we sold it. We're in some good profit on that one. CAD Swiss, we're holding long. CAD yen, follow your alignments, but it's still bullish. Swiss yen, follow alignment, still bullish. And lots of divergence. But we saw a lot of divergence last year too. Here's finally a Swiss yen divergence on the daily. If and when this finally turns, this should be one of the bigger trades of the year. I don't know what it's going to take. It could be a policy snafu from the Bank of Japan. It could be a switch in policy stance or just a big wave of Swiss franc or Swiss weakness. I'm not sure. I still have some technicals that I'm looking at on the Swiss. It's just not a currency that I want to fight. I don't want to fight the Japanese yen. I did that too much last year. Euro Aussie looking for ranges. If we come back to highs, I'll sell high. Euro CAD. We sold that at 5,000, took some profit already. We're coming back down here to the yearly pivot at 40. 1.40, look to buy it. Euro Swiss pullback. Just stay the course. I'm still buying this thing. I'm still holding really. I'm not buying anymore. I'm gonna buy it at the lows if we hit 95 or lower. Otherwise, I'm just holding tight and holding my base position. Euro pound, no trade. Euro yen, follow your alignments. Euro New Zealand, nothing. Euro dollar, pretty choppy at the moment. Pound Aussie looking to sell high. Pound CAD, no trade. Pound Swiss looking to hold long. Pound yen, follow your alignments. Daily divergence once again. We've got some pivots and pockets to trade for. I just, again, look for short-term confirmation. Pound New Zealand looking for a sell trade at the highs. Pound US dollar, no trade. We'll see how this one plays out, but I need a topping pattern if I'm going to sell it. Otherwise, I'll stay out. New Zealand CAD, I'm still holding long. There's still a big pocket back here at 84, and I'm looking to take this all the way back up to 88 or higher. New Zealand Swiss, I'd like to see a bullish pattern emerge, maybe something like this. Maybe this is our July summer range as we kick off a slow, maybe slow summer month, and then coming into August, September, we get like a big transition, and then we get a move up. This is almost coming back down to those COVID crash lows, which I think is a good opportunity to buy low. New Zealand yen, bears would have to get below 86.50. New Zealand dollar, stay out of this one for right now. Dollar CAD, I'm still long. I'm still holding long. If I get if I talked about this last week in the flex trading room. If I'm gonna buy this, I'm gonna buy it at 30, 50, or 3,000. Otherwise, I'm sit tight with a break even around 32 and change. But I'm gonna try to take it back up to 34. There just hasn't been enough movement on the oil or U.S. oil in general. It's been really choppy on all the instruments, and so I think dollar CAD, after getting some, it's mostly been dollar weakness that's driven this move. It hasn't really been oil. So again, I'll see what happens. But if we close back above 32.50, I think we're good to get this profit back up to 34.50. Let's see here. Charles says BOJ hit us with 350 pip bearish candle. On what? What's the bearish candle? I didn't see a bearish candle. I didn't see a bearish candle on anything. So what are you talking about, bearish candle on yens? I don't see it. Oh, hope they do. Oh, well, very different than actually having one. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, look, if you traded the Japanese yen last year, you know it was a currency not to fight. And traders that were, looking for yen strength were fortunate that the Bank of Japan came in, on 3 separate occasions and has some heavy, heavy, heavy hands in intervening in order to kind of prevent the continuation higher in some of the big flash crashes. So we essentially had like flash crash interventions last year in separate occasions. But I just been telling traders all this year, it's not worth fighting the yen. Trade what you see. If you've been bullish on the yen, following alignments and just basically being objective, it's been a very lucrative currency yet again. Now that doesn't mean that it can't change. It doesn't mean that there can't be an entire shift. I mean, it would make sense, like CAD yen comes back up to this high and all of a sudden we have this great resistance level, and it would make sense that we would go lower. The problem is, in my opinion, with everything's going on with the central bank stuff, the Bank of Japan is the only one that's not touching their rates, right? They're still at negative 0.1%. That's it. Every other central bank that we trade, Aussie, CAD, Swiss, Euro, Pound, New Zealand, Yen, Dollar, of all those currencies, every single central bank has been raising rates since the Fed started announcing a tightening cycle in 2022. Bank of Japan has done none. They're at negative 0.1. So that's why you're not seeing really any sustainable strength in the yen. You might see some big drops for a weekly pivot, maybe some short-term weakness in the pair, or the short-term strength in the JPY. But with a negative swap, I mean, if we have risk appetite in the markets, the Japanese yen is going to be the least loved currency right now, unless of course you're short on it. If you look for JPY weakness, which has been pretty obvious, and that's what you're trading, that's what you're watching, then it's a good trade. Do I love buying high? No, but follow your alignments and get some pullbacks. Okay. All right. Dollar Swiss. I'm still long on dollar Swiss, dollar yen. We were long back in the 135 level, took it up towards 139.50 to 140. It has surpassed that level. We're getting up into this big pocket at 145. Again, I would not look to short that. I think that what we might end up seeing is, yes, there's a pocket, but there's also a high way up here. So we could, pull back a little bit. Past resistance becomes support. We get another push higher, pull back again, push higher. If it doesn't really fade aggressively off this pocket, then I wouldn't be surprised if the dollar yen comes all the way back to 152. And from there, sure, resistance can hold and support can hold, and you can see a bear pattern up here, and then you can short it and trade it like a swing trade. But with the absence of confirmation, I would not guess where the top is. Right? That's the trend line that needs to break. Period. So even if it pauses sideways, choppy, 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 if it doesn't break this trend line, I don't think we short it. Goes up again, just keeps doing that. So if we're over here on the right hand side, very different story. So with that confirmation, I think it gets easier. Okay, I saw somebody ask about the dollar krone, Swedish krone, right here, Norwegian krone, sorry. Yeah, what about it? I'm not there yet. This is the spot I was looking for. We come back to equal highs, which would be around 12. I was looking for a big short. High, low. This just slowly kind of works its way up here, right? And then look for an opportunity to get some bear patterns, resistance and confirmation, and then short it. But there's still some room to the upside in this one. And this also, if we have risk off, this is going to go higher. I mean, I haven't traded, I don't think, outside of just watching the calamity on the dollar Turkish lira, I have not done much of anything. Because we had this crazy 100,000 pip move, and just last week when the Bank of Turkey ended up raising rates like 15%. If you go to CB rates, I think Turkey right now is sitting at, they're sitting at 15% after 6.5% raise last week. But what did that do to the currency? It it's still getting crushed. I mean, we have like another 50,000 pip rally on the upside. So, and that's just, again, their inflation is just ridiculous. Right now they're rocking like 30 or 40% inflation. They have like a negative 17 or 20% real inflation rate. So it's brutal. Argentina is at like 50%, 60%. I think their actual central bank rate is 91% right now, and they're still at a negative inflation rate, negative real inflation rate because of central bank versus actual inflation in the country. So that'd be a terrible place to be, in all honesty. Okay. All right. I'm going to go and wrap it up there. I got to switch gears to the trading room. I'll let you all go for today. I'll be back on Friday for opening bell. Thanks for being with me this week. If you do me a favor, click the thumbs up button for me before you go. And appreciate everyone being here. It's nice to see us kind of smoothly just get over 6,000 subscribers. From last year, we started at 0. So growing nicely. Keep spreading the word. Appreciate everyone coming here for the live sessions. Check out the videos if they help. And if you have any questions, let me know. If you'd like to see any other videos and topics, let me know. And I'll have a good week. All right, I'll see you in the trading rooms. And let's go. All right, thanks everybody. See you. Bye.